We're back. Season 7, Episode 8. Hard to say anything. So, Big Mac got a crush on Sugar Belle. The Cunamar Crusaders are like, let's find out. They all go over to our town, and then shenanigans. But it's okay, because Sugar Belle and Big Mac do end up together as their very special sun pony. Ooh, I forgot to hit enter. There we go. I mean, it wasn't the greatest episode ever, but no, this was a pretty good one. This was a nice break after the last episode, which was just giving me whiplash. This was just pretty good throughout. Although I should mention, who wrote this? I keep forgetting to write this stuff down. I am so busy lately. Becky Wangberg. I think that's another one of our guest star writers. Hang on, let me double check here. Yep. Another new one. So I think that's just going to continue being a thing, isn't it? That's okay. That's actually a good idea, legitimately. When you have a show that's been going on for a certain while, bringing in new blood is actually a really good idea, generically speaking. Keep the old blood on as oversight and understanding, you know, because you don't want people to show up and do terrible things, but you want to bring in new people. You want to bring in new blood. Anyway, sorry. So we get another delivery to Starlight's old village. Now, we get a little bit of geography here, just a little bit, because it's a long trip, but he's made this trip 4 times, 5 if you count this episode, within the space of a week. To me, that feels like a couple-hour trip, which may not sound like a long trip, but if you consider it, if it's, say, a 2-hour trip to get out there, that's 4 hours of your day that's just completely torpedoed as a virtue of this trip, right? And that's assuming average trip time. And so that's most of, I'd say that's a good 20 to 33% of your week nuked just in travel time, which sounds about right for something that's a long trip that you've still nevertheless done several times throughout the course of the week, right? I'm just spitballing because you know me in geography. I mean, I tried to do geography over on Star Trek, and that turned out funny. I actually pointed out in one of the episodes that there's an episode where we're like on the Cardassian border, and the next episode we're in Romulan space, which is over here. And this may not look like a long distance, but in galactic terms, this is like a 2-year, I want to say, trip. What? Anyways, point being. So, more animation details. Just pointing out a couple. The animation continues to be awesome. Scootaloo's eyes actually change a little bit, like the iris and the size of it change in the tempo of her discussion. Sweetie Belle pushing up her cheeks as she's talking, all of them squeeing over. There's just a little details like that. And of course, there's only one thing this can be, and then they all give a different answer. It's the broccoli thing, obviously. Now, oh yeah, this is great facial animation in this episode. I do love where the animation has gone, even if the episodes are starting to a little bit in quality in terms of writing. So I'll be Agent Rainbowhead. I'll be Shimmering Spectacles, a librarian with a mysterious past. And I'll be a pirate spy. A spirate. Points for adorable. So, oh shoot, he's about to, quick, act like apples! So then we see Sugar Belle. Yes, it is the Sugar Belle. Well, thank you very much, Ogre, as always. I don't suppose you happen to know where you want to put that. Because that's what you need to tell me, because if you don't... So, yeah, there's a lot of adorable. There's a lot of cute in this episode. And I do legitimately think that bolsters the episode substantially by sheer virtue of cute. I am unashamed and unabashed in that opinion. Sorry, take notes, don't mind me. So, Sugar Belle. Same one from all the way back in our town. Looks a little bit different. Cutie mark is the same. I looked up the voice actress. This is interesting. She's voiced by Rebecca, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Chiochet. Chiochet? I don't know. Now, you may or may not know who that is. She's done a bunch of anime, a bunch of animated, stuff. Not anime. She's only done a few anime. She's probably most commonly known as Twilight's singing voice, and some character named Sunset Shimmer. Who I don't know who Sunset Shimmer is, but she's that actress. She does a good job of it though. So they squeeze so much over that. Oh my God, he's got such a crush. Wait, this is your first crush? What about Cheryl Lee? That doesn't count. As you prefer, Ogre. I happen to know which game that is because, of course, I keep track of that stuff in my head. I mean, I don't remember all the time, I'll admit. I have to keep track of a lot of things in my life. So, they're all happy. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, yeah, total continuity counter, by the way. Total continuity counter for that. In fact, honestly, between Sugar Belle and, between this connection, between, I'll explain this in a moment, but so the connection makes sense and probably counts as a continuity counter. The references to the love potion absolutely count as a continuity counter. I thought there was a third one. But that's definitely 2. So we'll go up to 2. Let me explain what I mean by that. There. Damn it, my numbers are off. I keep forgetting to update both things equally. I apologize. This should actually be 207. Yeah, I haven't updated the website yet, but she is aware of that because she put everything towards Lufia 1 instead. So, the logic of this situation. Sugar Belle loves baking. In fact, she really loves... One of her actual only stated character traits back in the day was, I want to bake something other than these terrible muffins. So, duh, right? Now, the catch there is apples are just such a Swiss Army knife when it comes to cooking, right? It's actually insane how many things and how many different ways you can cook apples. So the idea that, this woman who really wants to get into baking would now deliberately reach out to and have trade ties with Ponyville, known for having a gigantic apple orchard, thereby automatically connecting Big Mac and her without even hesitating to. Think about it. That makes perfect, absolute sense. And I bring this up because this is such a minor point, but it needs to be mentioned. Too often, fiction will shove two characters together without thinking about how or why they have been shoved together. It's just, you here. Now, they may work well as a relationship. They may work well, this is almost always a romantic thing. They may work well as a couple, but there's no effort put into connecting the 2 points. Instead, in this case, it makes perfect sense that she would connect with Big Mac, and that because of the fact that the two have this chemistry or whatever, that we don't really see that much of, but because the two like each other, sweet on each other, let's put it that way, that they would then, that he would want to keep coming, and then she would want to have him keep visiting, and that's cool. So I'm with that for the most part. This also leads to, oh, she sure likes her apples. I mean, who wouldn't? Have you seen Big Mac? So, does she know? No. Then you gotta tell her. Yeah, because that's super easy to do, even for an adult. Be real. It's harder to do than it sounds, right? I mean, everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. Oh yeah, Big Mac is totally a catch. Legit. He is a hard worker. He is extremely responsible. Caring, considerate, absolutely willing to go the farthest extent necessary for the people that matter to him. No, that's a good catch right there. So, then stereotypical man shows up. Featherbanks. Great extent. Yeah, he's got a good family too. It's also that's important. I can actually point to several girlfriends I've had in the past who she and I did work pretty well, and we were a good match, but I didn't match with her parents or her family. And that is something that's relevant, especially if they happen to like their family. Right? That's kind of important, because you want someone you can bring home, right? Anyways. Unless you don't, which is also possible. But for example, if I was to start dating now, whoever I date had better get along with my niece. Anyways. So yes, Justin Bieber Man shows up and proves what the definition is of trying too hard. Speaking of someone who likes to do these kind of things, one time, before my girlfriend got off work, I actually lined a pathway of little beads on the carpet leading to the bed, because we were going to have sex. And I put a bunch of flower petals on the bed, and I got some lights, lamps out and all that. It wasn't Valentine's Day. I just felt like doing something like that. The thing is, we were already together, and I knew she liked that sort of thing. Now, that's critical, and that is actually one of the things the episode gets really correctly. I knew she was into that because I knew her, right? You pull that kind of thing for someone you're not yet in the status of dating with, you better know they're into it. And despite statements, Sweetie Belle, for all intents and purposes, doesn't really seem to be super into this. Now, yeah, the Gaston girls are super... I don't think they ever named them. But the Gaston girls are into it. But Sweetie Belle is just like, oh, okay, thanks. And it's just kind of polite about it at every single opportunity until later. We'll get to the later, don't worry. There's also this bit where she says, seriously, that line worked? It's okay. We'll help you out with this. No love potions. I should probably mention that Featherbang's voice actor is Vincent Tong, I think? Hang on. I was just looking this up. Please tell. Yep, Vincent Tong. I'm right. Now, I don't know him from much. In fact, I've only ever recognized him in one other thing. But the other thing I recognized him from is Tauta Matsuda from Death Note. Now, I'm not going to spoil who that is, but that got a laugh out of me. That's appropriate right there. Moving on. So, Epic shows up. Thank you very much, sir and or madam, as ever. And always. Thank you. I'm not going to say thank you to Jesse Ward, though. That's just insanity. One moment. So that first one was Talos Principle. And thank you, Jesse Ward, very much. Ever and always. If you know what you want to put that towards, please let me know. I have watched Death Note enough that I know why that's funny that that's Matsuda, and that should answer your question, Darth Madoro. I didn't like Death Note that much, by the way. Of course, I don't like anime in general. So, I'll tell you this one. I'll take a potato chip and eat it. Suikoden 1, you got it. And after I've eaten this potato chip, I will become the god of the new world. Now, sorry, I gotta say that right. The god of the new world. There we go. Okay. So, they put up her disguises, and it's like, you're gonna be this super nice thing. Oh, yeah. Put him in the getup. Oh, nope. That actually... Yeah, that's pretty cute. I do have to admit, the Cutie... This is a weird episode, because the Cutie Mark Crusaders almost universally make everything worse, except for the fact that they push him. As I've said, actually admitting you like someone to someone is harder to do than it sounds, and he absolutely has not earned up that courage yet, as is demonstrated. That's super never happening. Lord Aramont. That's... Hope on, brother. Yeah, anyways. So, then he goes to kiss her while she's sleeping. Everyone in the universe has pointed out how insane this is since the olden days when that was a thing. You don't wake up a non-romantic person with a friggin' kiss. And again, even if you're with someone, they might not be into that. That boils back to that knowing them thing again. The only thing I am going to give the episode credit for this one particular thing is the fact that they make it clear how bleh this entire thing is. And then they ride off into the metaphorical sunset. So they put together their show in a hurry. Their show-making talents have improved since the old seasons. It's pretty good. Sugar Bell's expression during the song is the most fascinating part of the whole musical number. Oh, it's decent music. Big Mac is a good singer, and Featherbangs is Justin Bieber. In my notes, I actually say Featherbangs Justin Biebers it up. But if you pay attention to her expression, they do a lot with it during the course of the music. So first he starts singing, and she's like a little confused, but she gets like a little smile like, oh, this is really sweet. Then, she's a little bit, you know, like, okay, this is weird. I swear to God, what's going through her mind is, am I in the middle of a musical number? Because she just kind of looks... But then she looks at him, she's like, because she likes him. Then, Featherbanks shows up, and she is universally not into that. Again, pay attention to her expressions. It's probably the smartest part of this sequence. Because she's just... And at several points, she actually starts frowning. And at one point, she's got that that Garfield expression. You know the one, right? Where the eyelids are half closed, and she's just staring like... Ugh. During Featherbanks' sequence. Then Big Mac takes over again, and by this point, she's actually frowning. Like, she's no longer half-masked. She's actually glaring. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And, again, her reactions to everything just are hysterical and brilliant. The way that it's presented. They do a lot of good stuff with it. And the escalation of the song itself is, if I might be so bold, hysterical. By the way, Featherbanks' cutie mark is 2 hearts and a quill. So, the idea of him going into, you know, songwriting or poetry is not exactly out of bounds, since if you pay attention, and this is probably me giving the episode too much credit, he is much better at improving his music than Big Mac is. Because Big Mac fails at every improv. It's hilarious. You know, it's something, 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 be mine. Whereas Featherbanks just rolls with it. The catch is, of course, most of Featherbanks' dialogue is actual nonsense. I should have written down some of it, but it's like, You're the water on my bee? What? So, naturally, she shuts this down. If you think I'm the kind of pony who likes all this kind of nonsense, you don't know me at all. Allow me to focus on that exact line, because frankly, that is, in my opinion, the actual Aesop here. If you like someone, cool. If you want to do the big, flashy thing of the music, are they into it? If so, cool. And that's the point. Know your audience, read the room. Both of them should have known this wouldn't work from the get-go. Yes, I know, shenanigans. And neither of them read the room in responding to her as she was responding to them. That is very important in general, but it is incredibly important when it comes to romantic matters. It's actually a good Aesop, and I'm completely with it. So, Big Mac, who actually does know her, and this is once again a show and tell kind of situation. They tell first, then they show in this case, because they tell it. Then Big Mac, who knows her, thinks of an actual plan which is tailored to her. Yeah, Sugar Belle isn't a storybook princess. And then he starts talking about the character and why he likes her. Again, know your audience. Read the room. Funny thing, him building this thing for her super quick absolutely plays into his strengths, too. I mean, he lives on a goddamn farm. And, of course, Apple Bloom is good at that, too, so that works out pretty well. It's a good thing the CMC stuck around. So, yeah, the two of them build her a thing which is custom-tailored for her, and meanwhile, Scootaloo is hysterical. I'm sorry, the spy music... Who are you? Hello, I'm Shimmering Spectacles, a librarian with a mysterious past. Okay, you got me there, episode. Mind showing me around? Sure. And that's pretty much the whole town. Oh, I love it. I really do. There's a lot of moments that actually got a laugh out of me. By the way, more showing and telling. Earlier, she flat out says she wished she had more space, but there's also a bit where they're observing her, and she's rearranging the pies on the shelf because she doesn't have enough room for all of them to sit equally and evenly. Just, again, telling and showing. I just wanted to mention that. So then they nose nuzzle. It's very cute. They start the I've learned something today speech, which kind of falters. And then Featherbangs out the back. Got a Justin Bieber in a bit. Actually, that's not Justin Bieber. Who did that? Oh my god, I can't think of his name. It's one of the Cusacks. John Cusack, I think. Pulls the John Cusack, except he doesn't have a boombox. What do I do? I don't know how to talk to people. We can help you with that. I actually kind of like the idea, if I might be so bold, that Featherbangs is so accustomed to, how do I phrase this? Surface level wooing, surface level romance, that he doesn't know how to do actual romance. Because that's exactly the vibe I get from here. Again, knowing your audience and reading the room. He was doing these big romantic gestures, which absolutely were not tailored to the person he was trying to woo. Yeah, shallow. That's a good word for it, Ogre. Very shallow wooing. So, you know, the idea of him being like, oh, shoot, now what do I do? I like the fact that he has no idea and is completely out of his angle. I'm not sure if I like the idea that he's now going to have 3 separate ponies who all want him. Savicom mentioned something earlier, that it sucks to be fought over, and it does. I'm going to tell you a story here really quick. Please don't judge me too harshly, because I was a stupid kid. But I once had a girl and her best friend who both wanted to date me. Now, I ended up dating one of them, because I was an idiot and I was a teenager. And then I ended up dating the other one, because I was an idiot and I was a teenager. Don't do that, by the way. And I just want to say that sucked. At least until they stopped being friends. Then it sucked less because one of them was absent from the equation. But I bring this point up because you ever want... Yeah, don't be a teenager. It sucks. I wonder exactly how this is going to work out for Featherbangs. I know this is such a minor point, but I'm finding myself thinking... But... Actually, yes, Baron. That is correct. But... And... There's... And what? How's that gonna work? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Point being, the episode ends. I don't think I could call it a wah-wah. But I think we're up to date on that. We do have to review this episode. It's got a decent Aesop. It does. And it is legitimately funny. Like, I am amused by it. What do you think? I will say this, I don't think this approach is red territory. But I could be argued into that. Yeah, funnily enough, the second girl in question, Savicom, ended up dumping my ass because I got run over by a car and therefore couldn't spend enough time on her anymore. It is a good episode. I agree. That's the one, Silvercom. Yeah, I think the shenanigans and Justin Bieber pull it down a bit from. I think I'm gonna agree with Orange. I mean, I think we can agree. Whoops, I keep doing that. I think we can agree Orange is the floor for this one. I don't think we would go below Orange. There's some good stuff here. From Miss Wangberg. Who's Kevin Le Pen? Has he been with us before? I don't think that has. That's going to be another guest writer for next week. Yep. Hang on. Nope, yeah. Another guest writer. Or another one-off writer for next week. For the episode Honest Apples. Hang on, let me chop off the local recording.